Okay, I'm going to have a little dance party before we get started. Let's see here. Is it going to work? Play. Oh, come on now. Play. There we go. Everybody, throw some confetti. Woo! Dance party. Oh, yeah. Woo! See? Gotta have a dance party before you start these things. This is virtual reality. Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Let me load up this here. Load up this presentation and voila. Actually, maybe I'll do it up there. Do it on this one. Let's try something different here. All right. Okay. So we got a couple minutes, one more minute, and then we'll get started. I'm going to have to put my back to you guys. Sorry about that, because I can't see if I don't. And you know what? I'm going to just come up right here. Hey, what's up, Rory? I'll stand beside you. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes? Mike? Everybody? Sounds okay? Okay, perfect. I can see you nodding. That's cool. Oh, that's neat. I got some thumbs up over here. Awesome. All right, let me turn off the laser beam hands. Hold on. Let's see. All right. So, looks like this is so cool. I'm just saying there's a green guy over there. Well, I got to have my laser beam hands for a second here. There's a green guy over there. We got confetti. This is awesome. I mean, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most awesome, this is like an 11 because, you know, we've got a presentation, we can throw confetti, we got laser finger hands, and there's a green guy at the front. I mean, what more could you want? All right, I think are we ready to start? Mike, give me the go.
Yep, go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right, so if you could just mute everybody because there's a weird echo. Ready to go. All right, so first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Alan Smithson. Hi, everybody. I'm the CEO of MetaVRse, and we're a virtual v-commerce company, virtual and augmented reality for e-commerce and retail. And we've done a ton of different things over the last 2 years. We celebrated our 2-year anniversary this week. So it's been an amazing couple of years. We've done everything from 360 videos, AR apps, VR apps. We built a VR photo booth, and we most recently we just built using our VR photo booth, we just built an infinity mirror booth where you go in and it's like this crazy infinity mirror room. So really cool stuff, and we're just really super excited about the intersection of VR and AR and retail and commerce, because I think personally this is one of the largest use cases of this technology. You know, if you look at the whole industry of VR and AR, if you look at the whole industry, we actually have you know, a lot of things that can be done. Gaming is huge, entertainment is huge, and I'll get to the breakdown in a second. But before that, I want to just introduce something that I'm really, really passionate about. Back a couple of years ago, my daughter, when she was 10, invented sandals that leave a heart-shaped tan line on top of your feet called the Love Sandal. And she invented these sandals, did a Kickstarter. She won top 20 under 20 when she was 10 years old. And we kept a curriculum of everything that she learned and that we taught her about entrepreneurship and mindset, and then, you know, building the skill set to be a successful entrepreneur. And, you know, the great thing about it is that we kept this you know, curriculum going. And our long-term mission and goal is to create an education platform that inspires and educates the next generation of young entrepreneurs to think and act in a way that's economically, socially, and environmentally sustainable. And that's the Unlimited Awesome Academy. So we'll be launching that soon. And everything that we do with MetaVRse, all the technology that we're building and all the relationships that we're building is going to be funneled into the Unlimited Awesome Academy. And I've pledged 25% of my equity in MetaVRse to that program. So moving on, MetaVRse, we're a global v-commerce product development company. This is very recent. We pivoted in October. We had a tagline, which was kind of crazy. We do everything, like EVR thing. Like, that was crazy. When we literally worked in mining, we worked in food service, we did work in media, entertainment. It was crazy. So in doing all those things, we really narrowed it down to what we want to do, and that's v-commerce. And so over the last 2 years, we've done 50 different projects. We were named top 10 up-and-coming rising startups by startups.co last year or this year. We were nominated for Global VR Startup of the Year, named Tech Week's Top 100 Rising Startups. We're founding members of the VRARA Association, and I'm actually one of the top 10 influencers on LinkedIn. So if you guys haven't added me on LinkedIn, please do. It's under Alan Smithson. You'll find me. I post every single day, and hopefully we can learn about this stuff together and really help each other. So please add me on LinkedIn. So let's hear what the big guys have to say about the technology. Let me just. So as of today, or yesterday rather, in the earnings call, Mark Zuckerberg reinforced his commitment to VR and AR, and it's really important. You know, VR and AR will merge to become part of everyday life. You know, if you look at Satya's quote, I feel that augmented reality is perhaps the ultimate computer. You know, Sundar, perhaps, or the next step will be the very concept of the device to fade away. And Tim Cook from Apple, I regard augmented reality as a big idea like the smartphone. It's for everyone. It's huge. Now, I don't think we really truly grasp how big this is. I mean, the people in this room are cutting edge. They are the influencers of the world. But I think people underestimate the fact that, you know, if you look at every human in the world is going to have a smartphone, and that is old news. We already have that, and there's not much more we can do with a smartphone. We can't make it, you know, any smaller. We have already ones that are the size of a thumb, and, you know, you can't make them much faster. It really has to go to 3D computing. So as we move from 2D computing to 3D computing, it's going to be this massive chasm that we have to cross. But when we get there, we're going to be able to walk down the street and change the world to reflect how we want to see the world. And it's going to be very Black Mirror meets, you know, Ready Player One. Hopefully neither of those come true, and we have a utopian world in which we all get along, but we'll see. The market opportunity for VR and AR is massive. If you break it down by industry, about 60% of the industry is going to be run by, you know, entertainment, gaming, live events, and then the other 40% is industrial applications. And this is where a lot of people, you know, underestimate what's coming with this type of technology, because if you look at, whoops, oh, sorry, 1 second. If you look at, I'm trying to make my thumbs here, my laser pointer fingers. There we go. If you look at the whole market, you know, healthcare is going to be a massive part of this. Engineering, design, retail, military, education. This is going to touch every single facet of human life and human communication. And this is what I'm really excited about. You know, we can educate in ways that nobody's ever even considered to date now. So I'm really excited about that. And, you know, if you look at the market, they're estimating that this market right now, it's about $13 billion last year. And they're estimating that that market's going to hit $108 billion by 2020. That's in 2 years from now. $108 billion in 2 years from 13 billion. So we're on this really, really rapid growth curve, and we're right in the middle of it now. And if you look at where, you know, MetaVRse stands, we're actually in the $1.3 trillion e-commerce market, or v-commerce market, by 2035. And that was a study by Citi Financial. So the markets are going to be huge. Let's look at a little bit at the evolution of technology. So if you take the technology curve of where we were in human existence, you know, the internal combustion engine was a massive win for humanity. And, you know, we had that technology for 100 years. Before then we had computers, and then we had the internet, then we had mobile, and each one of these technologies, the time to develop and the time for adoption is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Hold on, let me do that with my hands. Smaller and smaller and smaller. There we go. So where we are right now is very interesting, because if you look where we are right now, we're in this kind of, you know, growth phase where technologies just go skyrocketing up. And, you know, when you look at all the different technologies that are converging at the exact same time. You have laser finger, hold on, laser finger. You have 5G, cloud computing, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain, VR and AR, and not just one, but you have all of these at the exact same time. Every single one of those is a nascent technology. They're not even, it's not really where it needs to be, but they're all working together. And as we hit this inflection point, the technology is speeding up faster and faster. Everybody here knows that. If we're not in the year development cycles or years development cycles. We're in the months. If you're not developing products in months, then you're already out of date. And so I think that people underestimate the speed at which this is going to go because of them all converging at once. Few terms that we all need to know, and some people here will know it, some people won't, but I just want to bring everybody up to speed. 3 DoF versus 6 DoF. So 3 degrees of freedom means the people that are on your computers, or if you're on a Daydream headset or a Gear VR, if you can look left, there we go, I'm over here. You can look left and you can look right, but you can't move left and right. So that's 3 degrees of freedom. Look left, right, up and down. Now, to bring it to 6 degrees of freedom, you need to be able to move through the space. So I should be able to walk around the space like this, and that's 6 degrees of freedom. So I can look up, down, left, right, and move in those directions. Okay, pixels versus voxels. This is a very important distinction. Right now, the world runs on pixels. So if you look at the screen that you're in, it's running in pixels. But as we move to augmented and virtual reality, we need to start computing in terms of pixels in a 3D space. And that's why the next point is very important, and that's foliated rendering. And what that means is your eyes only see in full clarity in the middle 5% of your vision. One sec, let me just, in the middle 5% of your vision, and progressively you get lower and lower vision as you move out. Try it. Put your finger in front of your eye and then move your finger without looking at it, and your finger goes blurry. So what that means is that if we can use foliated rendering, meaning we are only rendering what you're seeing, that will allow us to push a lot higher resolution content to your glasses or headset or wherever without having to generate massive media files and really pushing the limits of that technology. So those are some things that you need to know. V-commerce, virtual commerce. This is something that I guess it's a new term, but we're saying that it's a type of application, service, or product feature that uses virtual and augmented reality solutions to drive e-commerce sales. And I think all of us will agree that we've probably seen an AR app or a VR app that allows you to see products in 3 dimensions, and it's just a completely new way of shopping, and it's awesome. I can see, with IKEA Place, I can see furniture in my house of what it's going to look like in the proper size and context, and I'll get into some examples of that in a minute. Why v-commerce? Why is this important to us right now? It's really important for a number of reasons. First one most often is it decreases the number of returns. E-commerce has something like 30% of all products that are purchased on e-commerce are returned. That's an enormous amount of returns, money, time, but also environmental impacts by having to ship products to the customer, back to the store, back to the customer. It's really bad for the environment. It's bad for commerce. And if we can eliminate that using these tools, amazing. 55% of all shoppers think AR makes shopping more fun, and why wouldn't it? Of course, I get to see the products. Maybe I can chase them around. We've only just begun to figure out how we can use this technology to make shopping fun. I think going to a store, walking up and down an aisle to find something, it's not that exciting. I actually personally don't like shopping, but if I could put on my VR headset and go grocery shopping, and when I'm in the vegetable aisle, I'm standing on a beach buying vegetables from a roadside stand in Jamaica, that's awesome. And then they just come shipped to me. Perfect, right? A third of consumers are more likely to purchase after they've used AR. That's a huge number. And I think it's really important to know that. 71% of shoppers would choose a retailer that's offering AR tech over another retailer. That's an incredibly high number. And I think you all need to think about that. And as you're talking to different companies in your day-to-day lives, are they offering AR? Are they offering VR? These are important distinctions. And I think we're going to see shoppers really vote with their money. They're going to vote with their pocketbooks, and it's going to be a real thing. 40% of shoppers would pay more for a product through AR. I personally don't believe that. I think the money, like people say that in these things, but let's see if somebody actually pulls out their checkbook and say, I'll pay 40% more. I doubt it. But 60% of consumers say that AR can improve their daily lives. And this is the big one, 104% higher conversion rates with 3D objects. And that was Lowe's. And I don't know if you guys know, Lowe's has really done a lot of work in the VR AR space. They were pioneers 3 and 4 years ago at doing this. And I'll show some examples in a second. So who are the companies using v-commerce already? So we're at the beginning of this. We've just started v-commerce, and some of the biggest brands in the world are already on here. Sephora, L'Oreal, IKEA, eBay, Lowe's, Pepsi, Wayfair, Nike, Toys R Us. Toys R Us is a bad example. But Toys R Us, Merrill, Walmart, Jack Daniels, all of these. And I'll show some examples from a lot of these now. So a little bit about MetaVRse and our products. I just want to show you guys some of the stuff we've done. We created this VR photo booth that you go in, you take your photo, and you can Photoshop yourself into space or underwater or wherever you want to do, and you can see yourself in VR. It's a great way to get people excited about VR. And one of the things that we thought was, how do you get people excited about VR? How do you get them to go, wow, I want VR, and how do you get them to try it on? And the one thing that we thought was, show them themselves in VR first before you show them something else. And so the VR photo booth does that. Augmented reality printing, we made this giant poster. It was a giant 8x8 poster, and this robot jumped out and shot at things, and it was a little bit violent, but pretty cool. We made an augmented reality teleportal where you walk into this portal and you're now on a cruise ship sailing the Mediterranean, and that was really cool. These are all case studies on our website. You can check it out. We made the first browser-based web AR project for a commercial company. This was for a large pharmacy chain in Canada here, and basically what they wanted a real-life representation of their products in AR, and they didn't want an app. They didn't want their customers to download an app, so we made it all on web, and it ran real time. Now, I can tell you, making things run on web versus an app is astronomically more difficult. It's it sucked, but we got it done. We built it in 6 weeks. And that actually ended up being really cool for us because it ended up being a product. We made augmented reality business cards. We've had probably 500 or 600 requests for business cards. So we're actually making an app that will allow anybody to have an AR business card, just because we're not in the AR business card business. But if we make an app, then everybody can have it. So we'll make that, and we'll let you guys know when that's out. We made an augmented reality sandbox for a company called Kubota. They make tractors, and they have this huge tractor trailer that goes across the country, and it's like an experiential thing. You go in, check it out. And I don't know if you've ever seen this. Just Google augmented reality sandbox. But as you dig the sand out, the Kinect cameras recognize the topography and project on the different topography as you change the height. If you pile up a mountain, it changes the topography. It's really awesome. We just finished a Westworld AR app for Bell Media and HBO, and that was released about a month ago, I guess now. And if you want to check that out, it's at westworldar.com. And it's only available in Canada. Sorry, they wanted that. We made an augmented reality menu for Boston Pizza where you pointed your phone at. This was really important because in Canada anyway, restaurants need to have the nutritional facts and information on their menus now. And so we were able to put that information into an augmented reality app, saving them from having to print a ton of different menus. So that's good there. Now, this is what we're really focusing on in the future, our web 3D player. You can check it out if you have a web browser. It's metaverse.com/3D. But I'm actually going to show you a live demo of the shoe. So, we figured out how to take photogrammetry and make high-quality models for e-commerce much quicker than they currently are now. So give me 2 seconds. I'm going to load a model here so you can see what I'm talking about. And hopefully this works. There we go. All right. So move Z plane, Y plane up. There we go. Can everybody see that? And I'll rotate. Not that way. There we go. See, it's missing some layers. But anyway, you get the point. You can see the shoe from every angle, and bringing in these models is really kind of awesome. You can see the models from all different angles. Can everybody see that? Yeah. Yes? No? Everybody? Yeah. Okay. Good. I see some nodding. Cool. So that's really cool, and we're really enjoying kind of making these models. I'll show you one more here. One second here. The Rumii dog spinning around. Oh, I got some praise. Woo, thanks. Watch. 1 second here, and I will go. Nope, up, up. Nope. Sorry, got to go up, and then we'll come out towards you guys, and we'll rotate on the y-axis. So I'm not sure why it's red on there. It's actually not supposed to be, but you can see here, the model. This is a watch that we made. We did a model of this watch. We made it for web, and it works really well on web. Now, the problem that everybody's going to face, and this is something that Alex mentioned earlier in her presentation, is that making models at scale is really hard. Making this watch costs thousands of dollars, and it took a couple weeks of work, and it was only one format. Now, what if you want to make it for web? There's another 2 weeks. If you want to make it for Facebook, there's another week. It's a ridiculous thing. So we're actually in the process of building a converter that will allow you to take models and convert them to all different formats instantly, and also using photogrammetry for that. So I think this is this is pretty cool stuff. You can really get right in there and see it. And I think being in VR and being able to see this in 3 dimensions, this is the future. So moving on, there's our watch, and ultimately we're aiming for photorealism. That's our goal, is to make this thing photorealistic and really push the limits of web, VR, AR, and create models that when you look at it in e-commerce, in any format, if it's on Snapchat, if it's on Facebook, if it's on any format, it's exactly true to the product. Because when you buy a product online and it comes as a different color, then you're really going to be, a little upset about that, and you'll return it. So it has to be exact representation of the product. So let's talk about some stuff that we didn't do. So these are stuff that people are doing all over the world. Snapchat's introducing all sorts of features. They just introduced Shop Snap, or Snap to Shop, or whatever it is. You can actually shop in Snapchat now. So you can, Adidas is doing some cool stuff there. And one of the cool things about that is, you can see the shoe in 3 dimensions. Maybe, and Snapchat has a really cool feature that's geo-tagged. So, for example, there were some art pieces that you could go and you could only see certain art pieces. Like you could see one in New York, one in LA, one in Toronto. And so they're able to put these things in the physical world and say, go find them. And if you find them, you can go buy our shoes. And that's really, really exciting. Of course, they have their selfie masks and stuff like that. So you can create those. Snapchat opened their lens filter. So now you can go in and create your own Snapchat lenses. It's pretty easy. Facebook did the same. They allowed you to make your own Facebook filters now, which is pretty cool. I'm just checking the time here. 20 minutes. Good. Okay. Other brands that are doing this, K is a jewelry company, and they created a simple app that allows you to try on different necklaces. I mean, how cool is that, right? You can try on different necklaces. There's one I just saw today that you can try on a watch by printing off a marker trigger, and you print it off, put it around your wrist, and then you can see a watch. And anybody who's in a Vive or Oculus, I believe you can see the watch. I have a watch in my hand here. And but imagine I could just change that watch and look at it through my phone or in VR or AR eventually with glasses on. I can look down and my wrist turns into a Rolex or a whatever, a tag or whatever it is. So that's really cool. Zara just introduced an amazing AR app that allows you to see miniature models in the store. So what they did was they created their storefront in augmented reality. So you take your phone, you walk to the front of the store, you hold it up, and now you've got a model walking up and down doing a fashion show for you in augmented reality. So that's pretty awesome. Like that was like mind-blowing. So that's being rolled out, and I believe you can get that everywhere in the world right now. This is really cool. This is a company out of Japan called Rigid Gems. And if you want to take a look at some of the most advanced ray tracing, and ray tracing means what does the light look like? So, for example, let me get my laser finger here for a second. So, what happens if I, in real light, if I point laser at my hands or a light source at my hand and it bounces off, what does the reflections look like in terms of making it look photorealism? And these guys here created an incredible platform for showing jewels. And when the light, you can actually change the light source, and the light bounces off the jewels perfectly. It's a really, really incredible, and they're called rigid gems. Sotheby's just introduced Curate. It's their AR app, and what it does, it allows you to decorate a space. So say, for example, you're selling your house and there's no furniture and it's an empty house. You can drop in predetermined furniture. You can take pictures of it, and now you've got an augmented world of real estate. And so Sotheby's is doing this. They just introduced it, so I'm not sure if it's available in the App Store just yet, but it will be, if not soon. Wayfair. Wayfair has been working on AR for quite some time. Again, the biggest challenge for this company, they're able to sell more products with less returns by showing you what that product's going to look like on your shelf or on your table, or maybe it is the table. But the problem is making that digital table or that digital lamp or that, whatever the digital object is, making that is really difficult, and it's time consuming. IKEA has 20 modelers working full time just to make high resolution models for their platform. And, it's really going to be an issue for people. House, this really cool company, House, they've got a bunch of models in there and they let you decorate your house. And they've just raised a pile of money too. So there's the furniture visualization is a really big thing. IKEA Place, I'm sure everybody here by now has seen IKEA Place. It's, nod your head if you've seen IKEA Place. I think it's everybody. It's really cool that everybody can nod their head. Yeah. Even the cameraman. That's awesome. So IKEA Place allows you to place furniture in your room. And what they did, now here's the thing, what retailers need to understand is that they didn't just all of a sudden come up with an AR app. They've been working on this for years. IKEA has done, all sorts of things. They allowed you to decorate a kitchen, see the different colored cupboards. They let you try this. And what IKEA did was they realized, you want to see something really weird, cameraman, go take a look over there. Right there. There's a guy there that's in the stairs. That's so creepy. He's like embedded in the stairs. Yeah, that guy. Anyway, what IKEA did was they said, hey, it's really cool that you can go and see a kitchen and you can change the cupboards, but it's even better if you can use the kitchen. So what they did was they created a Pancake Vr, which allows you to go into an IKEA kitchen and make pancakes. You go over to the fridge, you open the fridge, you get the eggs, you go in the cupboard, you get a bowl, you have to mix everything together, and then you have to fry the pancake and you have to flip it. And that's available now on the Steam store. You can go and get IKEA pancakes because they realized that looking at a kitchen is not the experience that you want. You want to use the kitchen, and that gives you this visceral feeling of using it, which is the same for shopping as it is for education. If you do something, you learn much better and faster than if you read it or just hear it. So IKEA got that, and they've been working a long time. Another company that's and then this wasn't IKEA, but it's basically a guy has created an AR app that shows you how to assemble their furniture. And if you guys want to see something funny, there's a video of a robot putting together IKEA furniture, and then it just burns itself out and falls over. It's pretty awesome. But this guy made an AR app that shows you how to assemble the furniture in an augmented reality. So Lowe's has also invested really heavily in augmented and virtual reality. They created the Holo Room, which basically, if you can see there, hold on, let me laser finger for a second. There we go. If you look there, the walls are actually triggers. So what they did was they created a whole room that recognized where you were. And what that did was it allowed them to trigger. And this is, older based technology, but it shows you how long Lowe's has been working on this technology. It's crazy. They've been doing this for 5 years. And now they've got the Holo Room. They've got Lowe's HoloLens AR, which allows you to pre-visualize what your space is going to look like, put furniture in, furniture, appliances, that sort of thing. Really amazing technology. And one of the things I got to try at Augmented World Expo last year was the Lowe's, it was a tile installer. So I was in VR and it taught me how to, get the trowel and get the how to mix the mortar, put the mortar on the thing. And I actually learned how to put tiles on a wall in a bathroom. And you had to do like a dozen tiles, and it was cool. I learned how to tile a bathroom. I'm probably never going to do it, but I learned how. And if you have this ability to teach people without somebody standing there, it's great that we have people to teach, but you can't always have the tiling expert in every single Lowe's store, but if the tiling expert makes a VR experience that scales, then now you can have tiling experts in every Lowe's store. And I think that's what they're aiming for. So it's really, really exciting. Also, they've been working on AR store navigation. So being able to find things, and there's nothing worse than be like, where the hell are the nails? Where am I going? And so they've been doing that. There's another company called Aisle 411 that's done a really good job with AR navigation for retail. And I don't know if anybody knows Nathan Pettyjohn, but he's the founder of the VRARA Association. Shout out to Nate. Yeah, they've been a partner with this conference as well. So if you guys are not partners with the VRARA Association, I strongly recommend it. They do amazing work, and we just released a VR and AR for business white paper. It's available for free. Just type in VRAR Association VR for business white paper. It's a free download. We've had about 1,100 downloads in the last month, so really, really excited for that. Amazon is starting to use AR. They allow you to see products in AR. Amazon's got a whole team of 3D artists making 3D products, but again, they ran into the same problem. This is really cool when you have 10 products or 20 products, but what do you do when you have 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 products? And to put it in perspective, Amazon has 600 million products for sale on Amazon. So yeah, how do you get this to scale? And we're working on some algorithms, and I can't really talk too much about it, but we're working on some stuff that will make that scale. I'm really excited about that. eBay came out with an AR app that allows you to take your AR Kit and AR Core app, you point it at an object, and it will automatically measure the object and tell you which box is the right one for shipping that product. That's really cool. I don't know if it's ready for prime time yet, but they got some media coverage out of it anyway. The Gap is using AR and VR for virtual try-on, so you can see what something is going to look like on you. It's very, very basic. You can actually choose, body size, small, medium, large, extra large, and then see what that garment's going to look like on you. Google just bought a company, and I can't remember the name of it, I apologize, but they bought a company about 6 months ago that does body scanning. So you can take a photo, and from the one photo, generate a body type or body scan that is about 90% accurate to your body. So that's really cool, and it's going to be the future of e-commerce for sure. L'Oreal's Beauty Lab, they've been experimenting with some really cool stuff where you can actually test retail locations and see what people are doing in that and see how consumers react. And the one cool thing about VR for this is that you have not only, can you track where they're moving, but you can track where they're looking. If I'm looking over here versus looking over here, and they know, am I looking at the top shelf? Am I looking at the bottom shelf? And that's a really important thing for retailers to know that. And, we're still experimenting. It's not really, out there yet. But imagine when we now have glasses that have full eye tracking, you'll be able to get pinpoint accuracy of where people are looking, which ads catch their attention, and that sort of thing. It's really an invaluable tool for retailers. Now, I don't know if anybody's seen the virtual makeup try-ons. There's a company based in Toronto called Modiface, and they created this virtual try-on algorithm that allows you to take your phone or a camera or anything and try on makeup really precisely and accurately. It can change your hair, it can change your lips, it can change your eyeshadow. They did it for Sephora and a number of other companies. Modiface can do hair, lips, makeup, and they just sold their company to L'Oreal about a month ago. So woohoo, there's one big win for the AR VR world. Yeah, everybody, big win for Modiface. Woo! Awesome. Okay, oops, moving on. Pepsi just recently did a really cool VR promotion where they took you in VR back to the time when the different Pepsis were, the different ads. So this was the ad where Cindy Crawford was in it, and you could actually go into that ad. And another one was in the 80s when you were sitting in the Back to the Future car, the DeLorean. And then another one was in a NASCAR. You're driving in a NASCAR and you pick up a Pepsi, and just really cool because why not? Why not send people back in time, forward into the future? It's amazing. So that was a really cool activation. This is a program called Shelf Zone. This is a company out of Italy, and what they do is they allow you to create a virtual shopping center with products and then walk up and down, pick up the products, see them, look at them really closely. They're pretty high resolution, but they're also keeping metrics around where people are looking and that sort of thing. It's great tool for retailers to do their research. This was really neat. I like this. So this is the Diesel Walk the Ledge. So it's a physical ledge that is built there. And let me just get my laser finger here. The ledge goes across there, but it's only an inch tall. But you feel, because your feet are kind of on the edge of a ledge, and because in VR you're on the edge, you feel like you're crossing this chasm, and it's really cool. The experiential marketing is very, very important to this. And then, here's another one. Toys R Us, maybe not the best example of a company that's going to make it because they're gone bankrupt, but right before they did, they introduced a really, really awesome AR app. And what they did was they allowed kids to come into the store, chase around, Jeffrey, and then play all these different games. And they had different games for different age levels, but also they could take those characters home and play with them at home, but it encouraged them to come back to the store. So that's a great way of looking at, virtual commerce or v-commerce driving traditional retail. And that's really cool. I like that. Merrill had this VR hiking thing where it was a bridge, and there was actually a physical rope bridge in the store, but it obviously didn't have a hole in it. And as you're walking away, a piece of the bridge breaks out, and you see people grab the sides, and really, really visceral understanding of hiking, and it's putting you in a place where you're going to buy that. One of the coolest demos I saw was an early demo by Shopify, and it was a shopping demo, and there was a table with some products, and oops, sorry. It was I'm coming. There we go. Sorry, guys. It was a demo where you saw the products on the table, you could pick them up, you could interact with them. But the coolest part about it was that they turned off the gravity in part of it. And so all of a sudden all the products started floating and you could touch them and it would fly away. And then the next scene was there was a tent there. And you're like, okay, cool. But as you approach the tent, all your environment faded away, and now you're on the side of a mountain, and there was a fire roasting, and you're seeing out the mountain, and you could get into the tent and see what it looks like in terms of being in a tent, looking out into the world in a space that really made sense. If I'm going to try a tent, I'm going to sit in a best or a retail store, and I'm going to be in the tent and go, okay, well, this is great. But really being able to crawl inside the tent, look out and see a fire burning, and eventually it would be really cool to have a scent machine as well that gives the smell of, a fireplace, and really cool. Scent machines are going to be a thing. North Face did this really neat VR experience where you put on the VR headset and you were in this kind of thing. What do you call it? A bobsled, a dog sled thing, and you were all of a sudden, your dog sleds. And what they did was they took it up one crazy notch, and they attached, while you were in there, they attached real dogs to this thing and took you for a damn tour of the whole mall. That's insane. Anyway, made for good video. I'm not sure how how happy the people were bombing through a mall attached to a dog sled, but it seemed really awesome. This was a really cool experience that was made about 3 years ago. Patron, the tequila company, allowed you to go and take a tour of their facility. So not only where they grow the tequila, but also the facility where they distill it. And you were seeing everything through the eyes of a bee. And I thought that was so cool because you're a bee flying around the agave fields. Then you go in and you fly through and you see all the people working. And then there's a door in front of you and you fly, and there's like the keyhole, and you fly through the keyhole. It was really, really cool. If you get a chance to see it, it's really awesome. Jack Daniels also did something similar where they brought you inside their still, and this was really neat because it was very subtle. It was dark, and then what they did was in After Effects, they had like, as they're toasting the barrels, there's sparks coming off, and the sparks are kind of flying around you and stuff. It was a really nice, it was more of a 360 video, but very, very cool experience. Has anybody seen the 19 Crimes AR wine bottles? This is so cool. It's so simple. But basically what they did is you take your phone, you download their app, you point it at the wine bottle, and then these 19 Crimes characters come to life, and they start talking to you as if they were on the bottle. And, the more you point at it, I think there's like 10 or 20 of these things. Maybe there's 19. I don't know. But it's really, really cool. It's a great party trick. You bring it to a friend's head, and it's a great way for us as a community to bring AR to our friends and bring it outside, because it's not like you're bringing a headset and getting people involved. It's just, here, check out this AR thing, and it's really, really engaging with people. People love it. Walmart's starting to use VR to train their employees. This is huge. There's a company called Striver, and they've done an amazing job at bringing VR training. So what they do is they bring 360 cameras, overlay some text data, and really use it to train people. So Walmart is going to be training, I think it's something like 100,000 employees over the next 24 months. But if you look at what's really going to happen is, why do we need employees in the first place when we can have this guy here is a virtual avatar employee of Walmart, and he can answer all your questions. It's an AI algorithm built by a company here in their project's called Control Human, and the company's called Quantum Capture. Quantum Capture takes really high-resolution photogrammetry of people, creates virtual avatar humans, and then allows an AI algorithm to drive them to answer any of your questions. And there's a video, I'll post it later on my LinkedIn, but it's absolutely like next level customer service, because not only does he answer your questions, but he aggregates all that information for the retailer. So, if you're in Walmart and you ask a customer service person, hey, where's the shaving cream? And they tell you, well, that customer service person doesn't document, oh, this customer asked me where the shaving cream was at this point in time and, in this location. They don't give you that information. So this is vital to retailers to have information about the future. And if you want to learn more about VR and AR and all of this kind of world, these are kind of the places where I get all of my information from, all the Reddit channels there. Virtual reality, Oculus Vive, virtual reality. Oh, there's two there, sorry. Augmented reality, AR kit creators, and AR core. The podcast, the one I learned the most of was from Voices of VR podcast. And I had a chance to meet Kent Bai. I was actually interviewed for one of his episodes a while ago. I don't know if it's up yet, but Voices of VR, there's 600 episodes, crossing everything from, the state of VR and AR in the future, in 2025 with Tony Parisi, to way back to, what are the headsets and how we're going to move forward with that. So really, really insightful things. And Kent Bai does a great job at curating those podcasts. Some of the other blogs that you can look at, our blog here, whoops, sorry. Our blog, I'm getting used to this controller, sorry. Our blog, metaverse.com/blog, VR Scout, Upload VR. The guys, I want a big shout out to the guys at Upload VR, Taylor and Will, for always being pioneers, and shout out to the VR Scout team. And is anybody going here to VRLA? Anybody? Just nod if you're going. Yeah. VRLA is amazing. It's an amazing conference where you can try all the latest, greatest stuff. And then AWE is coming up in May as well. It's going to be a great month of really cool conferences. I look forward to meeting everybody at these two conferences. And I think that's it for me. If you want to stay connected with me, our website's metaverse.com. Again, add me on LinkedIn if you want. I have a really, a really great LinkedIn. It's not just me. It's a community of people all contributing, and it's really, really cool. I learn more from the community than they learn from me. That's for sure. So, please join in and join the conversation, and let's world of virtual reality together. And don't forget that virtual reality is supposed to be fun. So, let's make sure that we have. Thank you very much. Woo! Thank you, guys. Laser hands, woo! Awesome. So I will take any questions that you guys have. Doodly-doo. All right.
Looks like we have a question over here.
All right. I'm going to turn that around, and I'm going to put that up there. There we go. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So what's your question?
Hi, Alan. Also, I very much apologize for this. I have reset this a number of times, and I cannot get out of this floor, even though my other apps still work perfectly.
You're in the floor. It's okay. We see you.
So when I'm watching your presentation and some of the other things that I've seen you and hear you talk about, I've seen that there's a lot of these cool applications where people can pull out their phone and look around and try these so-called party tricks. Now, is there ways in which you see people starting to use this a little bit more naturally before glasses come out? And a lot of people always talk about
Um,
the glasses as that's the natural step where you're just looking around, but until we get there, is there anything that's more
I
natural or
think
that maybe people will already create them?
Well, I think there's, where we are right now, and if you look at VR, or sorry, AR Core and AR Kit, if you take the long view, which, we're looking 10 years out, if you take the long view for this technology, AR Kit and AR Core are just the training wheels on how to program in 3 dimensions. We're teaching the world how to do things in 3 dimensions. We're not ready to put a pair of glasses on. We can't even figure out how to do cloud computing fast enough to do a point cloud map of the world, put it up to the cloud, and then project information back down. So we're 5, 6, 7, 10 years away from glasses that allow us to do that at scale. So what we're doing now is using these technologies to just learn, how do we program in 3D? What's the difference between a pixel and a voxel? How do I do rendering so that I'm only rendering what the device is seeing? And I think you're going to see some really cool applications. There's things like tap measure, where you can use your app to measure measure the location. You can go tap, 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 and then it says, okay, that wall is 7 feet by 8 feet or whatever. So I think there's utilitarian, also gaming. One of the things I saw yesterday was Dungeons and Dragons in AR. I mean, that's badass, right? You can have a floating dragon flying across and it'd kill, bringing things into your real world. Of course, holding a phone is not really, holding it out in front of you and holding the phone and looking through that little lens is not really the user experience we all hope for. But it's a great first step in getting people used to seeing things in the 3D world. And I think, there's certain things that AR on your phone can do that we've never been able to do before. For example, Dulux just introduced a paint app where you can point your phone at a wall and change the paint colors and take a picture. That's pretty awesome. You can't do that with a regular app. So I think these are really amazing things, and I think gaming is going to be a really cool way to do that, when you can start to play games on your table with your friends and everybody's got their phone. And I think there's 2 things that I think phone-based AR will really need to perfect in order to be awesome. And I think that's multiplayer, being able to have a similar experience with multiple devices. There's already some people working on that. And the other one is, I totally lost my train of thought. Every time somebody bings in and out of the room, it messes with me. Sorry. So persistent AR. Multiplayer and then persistent AR. So location-based. So as I'm walking down the street, I'm able to find things very much like Pokemon Go did, but with AR in the real world. Pokemon Go is a great example of using the real world locations to find things. And Snap, I don't know if you guys know this, but Snap did a really cool experiment game on Easter where you did like an Easter egg hunt, where you could literally hunt for Easter eggs. And that's really, really cool. I mean, like, how cool is that? And as we're driving, my daughter's finding Easter eggs along the road. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that. And that's stuff you can't do with regular apps. It's not the same as pointing your phone and seeing something in real life and grabbing it. So persistent AR, crowd-based AR, or multiplayer, I think is going to be important. Did that answer your question, or was that just a convoluted mess?
Yeah, I guess what you're really trying to say is that, no, we all know this is not the answer, but we're developing the skills to bring us there.
Exactly.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have one more question from Twitch, and I think we're going to have to end after that because we're running a bit behind.
Okay.
But the question is, how far are we away from having virtual communities in cross-platform environments where the mainstream audience can really participate together socially and share these VR experiences?
We're in one right now. And Rumii is a great example of this. How many people, by way of throwing up confetti, are on their computer right now? So throw up confetti if you're on your computer. There's 1, 2, 3. So turn the camera around. Hold on. Turn the camera around to face the people. Now fire the confetti if you're on your computer. All right? Now wave your hands if you're on a Vive or Oculus. Wave your hands. Yeah, so there's 1, 2 over there. There's another guy over there. So there's 3 of us, maybe 4 in VR, another dozen on computers. This is a great example of, a first case where we're all in an experience together across platforms. Some people are on computers, some people are in, Vive, some are in other VR headsets. So I think this is the beginning of that, and you're really going to see a lot more of this. There's Rumii, there's meetingroom.io, there's big screen is another one where it's cool, where you can put on a VR headset. It doesn't have to be fancy headset. It can be just a Gear VR or even a Google Cardboard, and you can watch a movie beside your loved one and have a conversation with them, even though they're miles and miles away. You can watch a movie, and I think that's really cool. These are social experiences that we get to experience together, even though we may be 1,000 miles apart. And so I think things like Rumii are a very good start to where this is going. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. So, yeah, I think that's all the time we really have. So, coming back at 11, we will have Alex Jackson.
Oh, Alex is awesome.
So yeah,
Alex is awesome. If you guys want to see something really awesome with training, Alex is amazing, and I encourage you all to check that out. Thank you so much for everybody for being here and taking the time out of your busy days, and I look forward to really meeting all of you on LinkedIn and then in person at these conferences. So thank you so much again, and I think what we should do is have one more dance party, because why the heck not? Let's do it. See you guys. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Thanks, Alan.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Alan. Thank you.